Well, welcome along to the Sporting Life Timeform preview for Aintree on Friday in association with Paddy Power and David Orr, joined in the studio by Ben Linfoot and Kieran to look ahead to the action. Now, Ben, on our Thursday preview, we made the point that the Bowl, the old A-Boy, was such a strong renewal. That's probably taken one or two horses away from the Marsh Chase on this card that might not be the strongest. We're going to get the ratings up from Timeform to have a look at it here. What do you make of the Day 2 feature?
Yeah, you would say it's a below par renewal, Dave. You've got Fakir who's going for a hat-trick in this race, having won it the last couple of years, and there's just a little bit of a question mark over him, I would say, after his last run behind Shishkin at Ascot. That was a rare below par run for him. He's such a consistent horse, so whether he's worth that 177 we'll find out on Friday, but he does top the ratings off that number, and there isn't an awful lot in behind in terms of improving horses, but Paul Nicholls certainly runs a couple of interesting ones.
Kieran, we're going to get the pace map up as well for this Marsh Chase, because it looks like it could be interesting tactically. How do you see things unfolding?
Yeah, I think that Pictori will definitely go from the front. He normally does, but I think he could be... He's not going to get an uncontested lead. You see there Minella Drama, who also likes to go forward. Admittedly, at a lower level, he's coming up through the handicap ranks, having applied his trade at graded level as a novice. Quite a strong traveller, Pictori, isn't he? So it's no surprise to see him up there. The one horse that you think it might not suit is Miller's Bank, who likes to come from the rear. I know he's got quite a good entry record, but I don't think this is going to be a pace collapse by any means. We
were talking earlier, Stu. I think you might be sweet. I might be reading between the lines and getting it wrong, but I think you might be sweet on a Hitman in this.
I am, yeah. I think you're sweet on Pete Dorido, Dave, having insisted we got the Johnny Dillahay colours in for the video.
It's subtle hints like that made the difference, isn't it?
But I'm just a bit worried about Pete Dory going left-handed. I think all of his best form, I mean, he's won left-handed quite a few times, don't get me wrong, but I think his very best form is on right-handed tracks, and that's just a little niggle with him at short prices. And I do think we're getting a little bit of stable second string factored into Hitman's price, and I do like him. I think he's a typical Aintree horse because he travels so well, and one of the criticisms levelled at him often is that he doesn't finish his races well, but I think this race might just set up nicely for him if Pete Dory and Donald McCain's horse, Manila Drama, do go forward. I think he'll just sit off them and travel into it, and might be nicely positioned to get a first run on horses like Fakir Doudery. And I think the cheek pieces, I think they worked in the Ryanair. That was a career best performance for me last time in a good renewal of the Ryanair on a track that probably wouldn't suit him as much as Aintree will do. And for that reason, I do like Hitman in this race.
Kieran, you're shaking your head vigorously. So I'm going to ask you for your best bet now. It clearly isn't going to be Hitman.
No, I don't think that Ryanair form's very good. Shishkin underperformed, Johnny Dill underperformed, Blue Lord underperformed. Most of these could have probably finished place in that Ryanair, I think, just the way it developed. I know that might be a bit harsh against Hitman. He's just a horse.
I think so.
Well, he wasn't good enough to win this last year, so why is he good enough to win this year?
Because he was six. He was six last year. And he's a typical Nicholls improver. He's 7 now. He's getting towards his prime. And I think those cheap pieces they're just squeezing more out, like Nicholls does with this type of horse.
Yeah, that's true.
He's still improving.
Donald's favourite Clanders Oboe. You just need to back
there you
these
go.
colours.
Stand your ground, Kieran. Don't end up tipping him. What's going to be your
I'm not tipping him. I'm going to go for a minor shock with Fugitive, who has loads to find on the ratings, but he is on the up. He's got some really solid handicap form. I put in the Timeform report after he ran last time at Cheltenham. He could be one for high-end handicaps again next season and possibly graded races. Now, he could absolutely blow his mark here, so he's either going to win or he's hopefully going to finish out the back and we can still follow him next year. But Aintree throws up some funny results. Godzo managed to win this last year, despite not last year, a few years ago, given his age, despite being best over 2 miles. And I just think Cheltenham might have left a mark on Hitman, and I had the same concerns about Victoria's Scoop. And Fakir Doudery, he'll be thereabouts for the first time cheap pieces, but I just thought it was worth taking a chance on it.
It's a good point Kieran makes about Hitman there, with Cheltenham perhaps leaving a mark of him. He did have a tough race in the Ryanair, but I just thought it was interesting that Nicholls has Pete Dory in this race and he's willing to throw Hitman in against him as well. I think that says to me that he's come out of Cheltenham just fine.
Clearly, Scoop is sweet on Hitman. And Fugitive, a speculator for Kieran. We've also got a couple of other interesting. Let's look at the Mildway Novices Chase, a 3 mile here. Gerri Colombe, Ben, for the Gordon Elliott team. I mean, the sad loss of Mighty Potter early in the week. He's a huge horse for them moving forward, Gerri Colombe. Second at Cheltenham. Let's have a look at the ratings for this Mildway. How good do you think this horse is?
I think he's a lovely prospect. My one concern with Gerri Colombe is that I think he can get outpaced in this type of race. I think that's what did for him at Cheltenham, really. The real whacker was given a great ride in front by Sam Twiston-Davies, but Gerri Colombe was just outpaced at a key point in the race, and this trip will help him. 3 mile, 1 furlong in the Mile May, but Aintree's a flat track, and I just worry that 3 or 4 furlongs from home, he's going to be asked a question by Davy Russell, who takes over. And at short prices, I'd be willing to take him on.
Kieran, he wasn't going to get past Bron for much of that contest at Cheltenham. Eventually did so comprehensively. How do you see the race? What's your fancy in this Mile May?
I think I fancy Bron. I have the same concerns with Gerri Colombe. When he ran at Cheltenham last time, straight away I thought Gold Cup next year. He's all about stamina, isn't he? And you just worry in a relatively small field around Aintree, a sharp track, and is he going to get outpaced and maybe come with a late rattle again? Davy Russell on this time. But yeah, I quite like Bron. I thought he he went through that race at Cheltenham brilliantly, didn't he? He did everything right on the front end, and even though it was a 50-1 chance, he outran his odds, and I thought he was a backable price around 100 to 30. He's got form with Gerri Colombe previously as well. He was beaten just over 2 lengths by him earlier this season. He might not be the best long-term prospect, but certainly on the day he's on I'd side with. I know you're keen on another Nichols in, mate, aren't you?
I think it could be a good day for Paul Nichols.
You need it to be, don't you? So if you're watching Ben's Family, fingers crossed for a good day for Nichols.
Yeah, well, Complete Unknown is a horse I like. I think he's taken to fences like a natural. By Dylan Thomas, amazing sire, isn't he? When you think about it, sired Caspian Prince, a 5 furlong specialist on the flat. He's not really sired a chip off the old block, Dylan Thomas, an art winner, and nutted in a derby, but he's doing it with his staying chasers as well. Ahoy Senior, who won this race last year, and Complete Unknown's another one, and he's impressed me in his 3 chasing starts. Probably lacked experience when beaten by the Dan Skelton mare, Gallier de la Tour at Warwick. That was just his second go over fences, but given a 2-month break, he came back at Kempton in a handicap chase the Saturday after Cheltenham and absolutely bolted up by 16 lengths against some seasoned handicappers in a good time, and I think that's really good form, and the official handicapper thinks so too. He's rated 152, not far off the best of these, and I think he might do them for speed. That was over 2.5 at Kempton. And I think he's got gears.
Complete Unknown to take centre stage for Ben there. Any other best bets for Friday for you, Kieran?
Yeah, I think Phoenix Way's got a solid each way chance in the top, and he can make a few mistakes, which probably isn't the best, and he has bled in the past. But those negatives in the side,
still decent ones.
Those negatives aside, Harry Fry's in great form at the minute. First time cheek pieces and tongue tie. He normally wears tongue tie, but I think the first time cheek pieces will sharpen him up. I think he's really going to get this run to suit. It's a good quality.
He's well handicapped, isn't he?
He is.
He's come down the weights.
Yeah.
You might know your fate early because he's going to be ridden cold, I think.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for a bit of. It's not really Aintree national course tactics, is it, off the pace? But
it's an interesting one.
There's that much pace on here that he could sneak into a place with the. I like Kevin Brogan as well. He's a good jockey. So he was one, and I'll throw up Pembroke at a massive price in the top novices hurdle. Now he went off favourite in the county last time, made a bad mistake to out when he was probably beat at the time, but they've put a tongue tie on him as well, and he looked a potential grade 1 novice earlier in the season. He might be a high-end handicapper, but I think a few of these will be, and I thought he made plenty of appeal each way at 28.
Anything else for you, Ben?
Yeah, well, Kieran liked one in the JP McManus Silks in Phoenix Way, and so do I.
Is that by Paul Nichols?
No, it's not. It's trained by Nicky Henderson. No Ordinary Joe, Dave, in the 220, the William Hill handicap hurdle over 2.5 miles. And you know when you're watching Cheltenham and you think, that horse screams Aintree. Well, that's what I thought when No Ordinary Joe ran second in the Martin Pipe over 2.5 miles. Now, that was his third go over 2.5. He won a couple of novice hurdles over that trip as well. And he's so unexposed. He absolutely tanked around Cheltenham like he couldn't lose, and then just was ridden out of it by his owner mate up the hill. But I think coming back to Aintree, 2.5 miles, perfect for him. He went up £4, but I think he could be a graded horse in the making. I'll
come see you on Saturday morning, shall I, when you've made all this money?
You've got to be confident, haven't you, in these 22 run handicaps.
Well, a convincing case anyway from Ben from No Ordinary Joe. Thanks to Ben and Kieran. Fantastic card at Aintree on Friday, and we'll be back. Don't forget to check out our Grand National preview too, the big race on Saturday.